New Hampshire is the 41st most populous state in the country with around 1.3 million inhabitants. The state was the ninth to join the Union on June 21, 1788. 29 days after South Carolina, the eighth state, joined the Union on May 23rd of the same year. New Hampshire has an area of 9,350 square miles, making it larger than a mere 4 states. The state is directly ahead of Maine population-wise with approximately 4,000 more inhabitants, while it is directly behind Hawaii with around 100,000 less inhabitants. New Hampshire borders the Canadian province of Quebec in the north, Maine in the east, the Atlantic in the southeast, Massachusetts in the south, and Vermont in the west. Its location places it in the Eastern Time Zone. The highest point in New Hampshire is the peak of Mount Washington at 6,289 feet above sea level. This mountain is located in 2 ranges, the White Mountains and the Presidential Range. Both of these ranges are part of the larger Appalachian Mountains. The lowest point in the state is where it meets the Atlantic along the southeastern border. The largest city in New Hampshire population-wise is Manchester, with an approximate population of 110,000 in the city proper and 400,000 in the metropolitan area. This city is located in southern New Hampshire along the Merrimack River. The second largest city in the state, Nashua, is just 16 miles south of Manchester and has an approximate population of 88,000 in the city proper and 405,000 in the metropolitan area. 31 miles north of Nashua, the state capital, Concord, can be found. This city has been the capital of New Hampshire since 1808 and has a population of around 43,000 in the city proper and 150,000 in the metropolitan area. Concord is located in Merrimack County, the third most populous of New Hampshire's 10 counties with an approximate population of 148,000. The most populous county in the state is Hillsborough County, with a population of around 410,000. This county is the location of the previously mentioned largest cities in the state, Manchester and Nashua. Kewaskum County, located in the far north of the state, has an approximate population of 32,000 and therefore is the least inhabited county in New Hampshire. The modern flag of New Hampshire was first adopted in 1931 and consists of the state seal centered on a blue background. This flag is very similar to New Hampshire's first flag, adopted in 1909. Before this, New Hampshire did not have an official state flag. The only change made between the modern and original flags was the state seal displayed in the center. This seal depicts the USS Raleigh, a ship built in Portsmouth in 1776, and one of the first 13 warships sponsored by the Continental Congress for the new American Navy. The first European explorer to record their ventures in New Hampshire was Martin Pring, sailing for the British, who traveled around the Portsmouth area in 1603. Pring was shortly followed by Frenchman Samuel de Champlain, who mapped the state's coastline. The first European settlers arrived in New Hampshire in 1623 and settled the seacoast region of Portsmouth. The colony that would later become New Hampshire was founded on the division of a 1622 land grant in 1629. This grant had been given to John Mason and Sir Ferdinando Gorges. This new colony was named New Hampshire by Mason, after the county of Hampshire in South England. In 1641, Massachusetts claimed the New Hampshire colony, dubbing it the Upper Province of Massachusetts. It remained the Upper Province until 1679, when it became the Royal Province. This name was short-lived, however, as New Hampshire was reunited with Massachusetts in 1698. In 1741, New Hampshire finally gained its independence as a colony. This was a mere 34 years before the American Revolution would break out, in which New Hampshire, as one of the original 13 colonies, would play a large role in. In January of 1776, the colony became the first to establish an independent government, as well as the first to draft a constitution. While no battles occurred in New Hampshire during the Revolution, the state supplied the Continental Army with both men and resources. 3 regiments were provided by the state, which were called in to fight during the Battle of Bunker Hill, the Battle of Bennington, and the Battle of Rhode Island. Following the Revolution, New Hampshire was granted statehood on June 21, 1788. Concord was named the capital of the state 20 years later in 1808. Little occurred in New Hampshire during the Civil War, as the state was one of the northernmost to remain in the Union. However, many military units were raised by the state. Following the war and into the modern day, New Hampshire remains an important member of the Union. So that's a brief tour of New Hampshire. The state has been integral since the founding of the country and continues its legacy into the modern day. This is Morathy. Thanks for watching.